What is my favorite makeup product under $5? What's a hidden gem that I found at the drugstore that I absolutely love? If you're one of my longtime viewers, you might know the answer to some of these questions. And if you're not, then stick around where I'm going to answer those questions for you. Let's get into it. So as you probably saw from the title, this is a tag video. And I'm going to say tag videos don't necessarily do great on my channel, like for viewership and all that sort of stuff. But I think it's a great opportunity for my audience to get to know me a little bit better and some of maybe my likes, my dislikes. And I just think that they are fun to do. This particular tag was created by another content creator. Her name is Jen Phelps. And I actually did a collaboration video last year with Jen, with it was like a multi-channel collab. I'll insert that over here if you wanted to check it out. But I thought it would be fun to do her video that she actually created. I also had one of my viewers reach out to me directly. They DM me on my Instagram and asked if I could please do this tag. She thought it would be just fantastic and just to hear my answers. So I thought that was just such a wonderful thing that somebody reached out, and that's another reason why I wanted to do the video. So without further ado, let's get into some of the questions. So I just have my phone here to reference the questions. So number one is, if you could only use one drugstore affordable brand, what would it be? Well, I had to really think about this one because I have several brands from the drugstore that I really enjoy using. But the one that kind of comes up top of mind for me is e.l.f. And the reason that I love e.l.f. products, they are super affordable and great quality. But I think that they encompass everything in their brand. And what I mean by that is they have, yes, makeup products. They have some skincare products, but they also have tools. Like they have a ton of, like their sponge, well, you know, their sponge is like one of my favorites. I think this is better than the Beauty Blender. Brushes, I have a slew of their brushes. But when you compare that to other drugstore brands, say like Maybelline, they don't have any of that stuff. It's just makeup, you know, or CoverGirl or Revlon, like any of those ones that I can talk about, pretty much most of them just are makeup based. So for e.l.f., I think they just do a phenomenal job of including so many different types of products and being like a really well-rounded brand. And I like that they are like cruelty-free. I've never claimed that I'm like a cruelty-free, like clean kind of vegan channel. I do like though where I can using some of those products, absolutely. So I think for a company like that to be just a great company and products are phenomenal. I did a whole video on e.l.f. I'll insert that over here as well if you haven't checked it out. I think they are just a fabulous, fabulous brand. Now, question number 2. What's the most underrated drugstore affordable brand? Well, again, this one was a little bit hard to figure out which one do I think is underrated. And the one that kind of came up is Rimmel. So I have a few Rimmel products. It's not a brand that I say that I gravitate to, but it does have some really good products. Their eyeshadows are really good. Well, you know my waterline pencil. This is my absolute favorite. The Rimmel Scandalize, I believe it is called. There's no more writing left on the pencil. That's how much I've used it. Their lipsticks, I have a couple of their lipsticks. But they are, again, one of those really affordable brands that I just don't think a lot of people talk about on YouTube. I really liked their, I don't have it in my room right now with me, but it's their translucent like setting powder. That's like an oldie but a goodie. It's just one of those brands that I find that just doesn't get talked about a lot on YouTube, but they are a great brand. Okay, question number 3. What's the most overrated drugstore affordable brand? When I think of something that's a little bit overrated, and I don't have a lot of these products, but I think that I don't gravitate to them because I find them a little bit on the pricey side, and that is the Pixi brand. So I have the color corrector under, like the peach color corrector that I use to take away the darkness under my eyes. And I recently picked up this Pixi On The Glow blush, but why I just I think they're just a little bit more expensive than they should be, and I don't know really what the big hype is about the brand. I haven't tried their eyeshadows yet, but from what I've heard, like they're okay. It's nothing like great. I think my e.l.f. ones do much better than some of the, from what I've heard, like some of the Pixie ones. Like this one, like the color corrector is really good for the price. Like this, I think was like $16 Canadian. So it's not like it's really like a great price. And then this blush, this was like okay. There wasn't anything great about it. I mean, it's unique that it's like comes in a little like a stick. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was like $24 Canadian, and it's like, why? Like, why is this $24? I don't know. It did an okay job. It was nice having the cream, you know, kind of formula as a blush. But again, I have other drugstore brands that I think do probably a better job. So that's, again, my opinion. I think just the Pixie is just a little bit of an overrated brand, overpriced brand. Question number 4. What is your favorite drugstore product under $5? Now, I do have to agree with Jen on this one because she had this in her video, and I said, yeah, I really do have to agree with her. So she chose the little Essence, all those little 6-pan eyeshadow palettes. Sometimes when I do a tag that has American prices in it, it's sometimes in Canadian dollars, they are a little bit more than the actual price, but you can get these for $4.99. So they are under $5. I have these 4 right here. I absolutely think these are a great little drugstore affordable brand. Fantastic eyeshadows. I've had them on my channel a number of times. I do want to get, there's I think 2 other shades that I want to get, but so far I have I like to mauve it. Nothing compares to nude. Taupe it up, and then my rose will go on. So these are just a great quality. They blend in really well. They don't, like, they're not all patchy. They're not like really dry on the eye. They don't accentuate my crepiness on my eye. I find there is a kickback in the pan, but just make sure you tap your brush off really well. And I don't really get any fallout on my cheeks because I have tapped it off really well. So I think these are a great $5 affordable product that you can get. Question number 5. What is a hidden gem from the drugstore that no one talks about? So unfortunately, when I was making a prior video, I didn't know about this tag video. So you'll have seen this on my channel just recently, but I really have to talk about it because I think it's really a product that I don't see anybody talking about. And it's technically, is it technically makeup? It's technically not makeup, but it is a beauty item. So what I'm talking about is all of my Revlon HD nail polishes. I absolutely stinking love these nail polishes. They are a fantastic quality. I actually have on the one today, this one here. That's what is on my nails. The shade is, this is called So Shady. I love it for like fall, winter. And then I have so many of these other ones are great for like springtime, summertime. I've described them before. Just the quality is great. I love the brush. It's like one of those like quick, I just do like 3 strokes on my nail. They're done. With this darker color, I did have to put like another coat on, but I don't normally, with some of these lighter shades, I don't usually have to put like another coat on. Just the one coat is fine. And they dry pretty, you know, like pretty quickly. And they stay. Like I had just put this on yesterday, and this will probably be good for about a good 5 days. I have put like another top coat on from another product. Like I always put like a base coat on and a top coat on. And this will last me for about a good five days without it starting to like chip and all that sort of stuff. So that is my hidden gem from the drugstore. Question number 6. What's your favorite drugstore foundation? Well, all the foundations that I try and love, like a bunch of them, the one that I had to go with for this one is the L'Oreal True Match Nude. This is actually called a tinted serum foundation. I love this foundation. I did a whole a first impression, didn't I? I think I did a whole first impression video. I'll put that over here for you. I think this is such a great product. I have it on today. This is what I wore. I don't know if you can see how luminous my skin looks. It has hyaluronic acid in it, which just is going to give me that little bit of moisture. It never gets cakey on my face. It doesn't settle all into my fine lines and makes me look like, 100 years old. It blends in really nicely and has been at the top of my favorite list, well, pretty much since I did the video. I've shown it a bunch of times in other videos, but I keep coming back to this one. It is such a great, great foundation. Question number 7. What products do you tend to buy more at the drugstore versus high-end? Well, this is kind of a no-brainer for me because I think that the drugstore, in my opinion, make better ones for the price. One of them is mascara. I buy a ton of drugstore mascaras. I think they do a better job than some of the higher end ones. The only higher end one that I bought a couple years ago, which I really did like it, is the Clinique. The Clinique High Impact Mascara. I had that in a bunch of videos. I think that it did a really nice job of almost like nourishing my lashes. But I kind of considered it drugstore because I couldn't buy it in the drugstore. So, but for price point, I would say and for me, I use a lot of L'Oreal mascaras. I think they do such a great job of their formulas. And there was a whole bunch of different types that I've used of L'Oreal. And I always come back to them. Maybelline makes some okay ones. There's a couple of obviously the Sky High one. That's probably the one that everybody knows the most. I did a first impression video on that one, but I don't know. There's just when you look at how much you're spending on a higher end mascara. I mean, I use them. Don't get me wrong. I do use some of the higher end ones, and I do enjoy them. But I think for the amount that I'm spending on that mascara, and then I'm just going to be tossing it, 3-4 months is kind of the max that you're supposed to use mascaras before you toss them. And then you're supposed to get a new one. I don't always do that because I've spent, money on a mascara. I feel a lot better if, throwing out like a $10 mascara than like a $40 mascara. So that's why I tend to buy drugstore ones. And also, I mean, I wear lashes a lot, right? So I don't really need anything under my lashes. I just want something to coat the lashes and, sort of mesh with the actual false lashes. So that's another reason why I'm like, okay, whatever. As long as it doesn't flake. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is when a mascara flakes. And, I find a lot of the drugstore ones are pretty good that way. So that is number 1. And number 2, the other product I buy a lot of is lip products. So I'll show you a little bit of an assortment of lip products that I have. This was one of those things where I went, okay, well, what do I have a lot of that, obviously I buy a lot of this stuff from the drugstore. So I have my little collection here of Milani. Well, these are all of those, they went viral on TikTok several months ago. These are the understated something. I'll have the whatever it's called under here, the actual name of the lipstick. This is the shade Pleasure, so that's the one I'm wearing today. So I think these do a lovely job in their staying power. These are very moisturizing. I was a little bit hesitant because they are some of them are matte. And I'm always a little bit leery about matte lipsticks because they can sometimes be really drying. But these ones are very comfortable on the lip. And like I said, have great staying power, surprisingly for a bullet lipstick. And then my other little collection that I have of lipsticks are my NYX. These are all of my NYX Shine Loud lipsticks. These are a liquid version. And I really enjoy these as well. Very comfortable on the lips. These ones stay on all day. I don't have an issue with them fading. They just are a great product. So for the question, going back to the question, what do I buy a lot of? I buy a lot of mascaras and lip products. And that I think you can get some great ones from the drugstore. Next question. This is question number 8. What drugstore brand do you think is overpriced? This one pains me to say it because it's one of my favorite brands from the drugstore, and that's L'Oreal. I think I've done maybe 2 or 3 just one brand L'Oreal videos because I just love the brand. I think that they have some great products where it comes like I was mentioning, all their mascaras, love them. Some of their foundations, again, love them. Eyeshadows, blush, lipstick. They just pretty much have everything that I really enjoy using. But the unfortunate thing is they are creeping up there. Like their price points are starting to just kind of get up there where it's like, oh, okay, you guys, you're still a drugstore brand, right? Like when you think drugstore, you think, affordable. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing is, as much as I love the brand, I just think it's creeping up there. Question number 9. What's your favorite drugstore dupe? Now, I did a dupe video actually quite a while ago, and I'm due to do another one because there is a lot of dupes out there of higher end and drugstore products. I'm just trying to gather enough that I can do a full face of dupes. But the more recent one that I've come across, because I've been kind of playing with different products, and I was like, oh, those are very, very similar. So it's foundation. We'll go back to my L'Oreal True Match Nude Foundation. Now I do have this one in the shade 2-3 Light, but what I found is when I use this Nars foundation, this is that light reflecting foundation. I have this one in the shade Duval. I find this is very, very similar to the L'Oreal in consistency, in just how it applies to my face. I was thinking I was going to do like a half and half side face, but I went, I'm going to be going out later. And the unfortunate thing about these two is that the shades are a little bit off. The Nars is a little bit lighter, whereas this one is a little bit on the darker side because I've been using it more in the spring and summer when I have like a little bit more of a tan. But what I'll try and do is on my hand, so you can see definitely the different shade match. But what I want to show is more of the consistency. This one here is the L'Oreal. So when I rub that in, it gives like a really beautiful shine. Now when I rub the Nars, see how that also has a beautiful shine? Like they are really, really similar. Like I said, bypass the shade, but look at the consistency. Look at how beautiful that looks. So I've been playing around with them, and what I'll do is when I find, it'll probably be like way in the new year that I can kind of gather all of the products together. But what I'll do is I'll do like a side by side with these two, and I'll just make sure I'm not going out later that day, so I don't look so funny. But yeah, that's like my favorite dupe right now is those the foundation, those two foundations, because the Nars, this is $65 Canadian. And the L'Oreal is about $26, but you can get this one on sale. Like I think when I got it on sale for like $19. So just a little bit of a price difference. But like I said, this one, like has that they have like skincare ingredients in them. But this one does as well. It has that hyaluronic acid and stuff. So that's why I think that they are, this is definitely a dupe for this one here. Next question is number 10. What's the best drugstore eyeshadow formula? I'm going to go back to the original brand that I talked about, e.l.f. And I think they have great eyeshadow formulas. So the ones that I'm really going to specifically talk about because they are super affordable is the little e.l.f. bite-size palettes. Like, I mean, e.l.f. has like a whole bunch of different, eyeshadow palettes. I've shown them on my channel numerous times. But these ones are such a great little find. This could have been one of my hidden gems, actually. These are very, like the formula is great. They blend in nicely. Again, not like patchy. And the formula is just like this great little formula. I've used this one a lot. You can see I've started to hit pan on it. Even when you look at the shimmer shades, like they have such a great quality about them. And I think that these would, I mean, this isn't the question, but I think that these could even compare to some more expensive brands. In my opinion, I think e.l.f. has some fantastic eyeshadow formulas. Question number 11. What's the worst drugstore eyeshadow formula? I'm going to talk about my experience with some of these eyeshadows. And I'm not going to say that these are the, that's hard for me to say that they're the absolute worst. They just don't work really well for me. And surprisingly, the brand I'm talking about is Maybelline. So Maybelline, some of their formulas, like I have like this is an older eyeshadow palette. I just didn't have a lot of success with it. I found it to be just, the pigmentation wasn't there. I found them to be just a little bit patchy. Again, this is another, like an older one. This is one of the City Mini palettes. Again, it just didn't, I don't know. I found it, when I was blending, like having to blend them in, I don't like it when an eyeshadow takes me forever to blend in and where my eye actually starts to maybe hurt a little bit. I think that's not a good thing. So that's what I found with these palettes here. And then this one was like one of those recent finds. This is like their shadow block. Now I'm going to say this did okay. Like this was a step up from these ones. I had, you know, okay, these are, I'm going to keep trying their formula. But what I found about this one is it was a little bit expensive for this little shadow block. I'll stick the price up here somewhere. I can't exactly remember what the exact price was of it, but it wasn't very cheap. And that these little eyeshadow palette, like that's all that there is. It's just like this little square. And you get 3 of them, right? So there's like 3 little eyeshadows. That's it. Yeah, this didn't do like a lot for me. They did okay. Now, I will say I always like to pair a negative with a positive. So the positive is this palette here. This one does actually not a bad job from Maybelline. This was one of my, I think I had it in a video where it was like a really nice find for the year. It's the Nudes of New York palette. You can see it's like a neutral palette, which is, you know, one of my favorites. The quality on these ones, whatever they've done to the formula for these particular shades, did a nice job. There was, you know, kick up in the pan, but I didn't have like a lot of fallout from these ones. And they were like a lot more pigmented than some of the other ones. So you can, that's one of the shades right there. So you can see there is quite a bit of pigmentation with these ones. So this was a much better find. I think they put a lot more thought into this palette. And what I also like about it is they have all like underneath the shades, they actually have like color, like the shade colors. So there was a lot more thought into this one here. Question number 12. Drugstore brand you used to love but aren't crazy about anymore. Again, it was, okay, what haven't I gravitated to a lot lately? Now, with the exception of a product I just showed you, because I think they do a great job with that, but it wasn't technically makeup. So I'm going to say the Revlon brand. Revlon, I used to really enjoy some of their products. I still really like their Revlon, their Color Stay ink liquid lipstick. I think that's great. I have one of their highlighters. I think that's great. But I don't know. There's just something about the brand. I don't know. I have like new products as much as some of the other brands do. The quality, I don't know. Sometimes the quality isn't there. But as a brand as a whole, and like I said, love, this is Revlon, right? Like the nail polish that I showed you is Revlon. I did a whole Revlon video. I'll put that up here. And there was a bunch of products that I used that just, you know, weren't great. This was one of them. So this was one of my fails from last year. This is a Revlon Insta Blush. Now, keep in mind, I just said blush, okay? It comes as a stick, which I thought, oh, that would be great. No problem. A stick. I'm going to show you. So I really am trying to put this on here, okay? And all you'll be able to see is like right here. Okay, you can barely make out any sort of shade there. And I was really trying to roll this onto my cheek. And I'm like, this is a blush? Okay, this is maybe a highlighter. This is not a blush. Like when I think of blush, I think of like, you know, you look like today I've got some nice color on my cheeks. So this was like a huge fail for me. And then there was a Revlon, like light coverage foundation. Did not care for that at all. Even I think I tried one of their mascaras and that wasn't very good. So I don't know. There's certain products that I do like. I really liked, there was like one of their primers was really good. It kind of gave me like a glow, really nice formula. But I think I don't know. There's just something about Revlon that I don't know. If I'm not mistaken, I thought a few months ago they were either supposed to be going under creditor protection or something like that. And I'm not sure, I can't remember what the whole story is about that, but I thought they were going to be going bankrupt or something. So I think they just need a total refresh. I think that the brand needs a refresh, maybe just reestablish themselves. I mean, it's a brand that's been around forever. So that's just one of those brands that I just don't really gravitate to anymore like I used to. Question number 13. Drugstore product you didn't expect to like, but totally wowed you. So I was going through a bunch of my products, and I have to cheat a little bit here because I'm going to choose 2 products because both these products blew me away. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. Oh my goodness, this is a fantastic little product. I was very impressed by this. I didn't know what to expect. It's a very, like a lightweight foundation kind of skin tint product. It's one of those ones that I'll use like on a no makeup day, or if I just, sometimes I'll use this as a little bit of a primer. I just had it in a video, just my prior video, and I showed you kind of how I used it, put it all over my face, and then with another foundation, I just kind of touched it up. But this is fantastic. It is hyaluronic acid in it. Really gives my complexion a nice, smooth, dewy look. So I'm very, very pleasantly surprised with this little skin tint. And then the other product that, again, very, very impressed with it. I've shown it a bunch of times on my channel. The CoverGirl, this is the Priming Glow Mist. And I used it today. I think it's one of those products. It's very versatile. So you can use this as your primer, which I do a bunch of days. There's days where if I'm not even wearing makeup, I just spritz this on my face and it gives me a really healthy looking glow for the day. You can use it over top of your makeup, like as a bit of a refresher for the day. But like I said, I like using it as my primer, and it's so quick and easy. Like I'll throw it onto my face today. Like I put it on prior to this, but then I'm just going to refresh my makeup a little bit here. It just smells heavenly. It has like a rose scent to it. But this is one of those products that just blew me away. Question number 14. Favorite affordable eyeshadow palette right now? Well, I've tried a bunch of palettes recently, but the one that I've been using the junk out of, I've been using this little Physicians Formula. It is called the Matte Mono Butter Palette. It is what I'm using today. I always use this one as my transition shade. And then I go in with these ones here, and that kind of does my outer V part. And then I blend everything together. I use this one here kind of on my, up here on my brow bone. But this is such a great formula. I love the Physicians Formula, the butter formulation. It doesn't accentuate any of my, like the crepiness on my eyes at all. They blend in so beautifully. That's what I love about their formulas. I don't even really have to work a lot as I'm, putting the eyeshadow on. Very buttery texture. They last all day. They don't fade. Very pigmented. Like this shade right here. This one that I have used on my outer V, which is just this top one right here. Very creamy, buttery. Very pigmented. Like I just put a little bit on the corner of my eye after I blend it in, everything just blends together. So this is my favorite little palette right now. It's not overly expensive. I think right now you can get it on sale for like $13 Canadian. Now, I mean, it probably doesn't look like there's a lot in the pan. There is another palette that has more like shimmer shades to it. I just like this one because it's all mattes. But I think it's a versatile little palette. Like all of these little shades right here, you can use as transition shades. And then these ones over here, one's a gray, one's like a really like a khaki kind of green. And those are the ones that I just kind of use in the corner of my eye. So I think this is a great little find and my favorite palette right now. So a big thank you to Jen Phelps for creating this tag. This was super fun. I love doing like a little bit of revisiting some of my products and letting you guys know what my favorites are, maybe what my not so favorites are. So this was super fun to do. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me some comments down below if some of these you can relate to, and maybe answer some of the questions on your end. To my fellow content creators, I tag a bunch of you If you want to take part in this tag, it really is a fun one to do. If you're not already, I would love for you to consider subscribing to my channel, becoming a little part of my world here on YouTube. Make sure to hit that notification bell right beside the subscribe button. That way you're notified whenever I upload new videos. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. That also helps my channel out a lot. And as always, I hope everybody has a great week and a great life, and I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Bye!